All right, everybody. It is playoff time right around the corner. We only have a few games left. This is Ball Up Top. I am Andscape's senior writer, David Dennis Jr. We are here to talk about what is left of this NBA season as we head into the playoffs. I've scoured the schedules. I've gone through all of the games, and I have picked the most important games left for this NBA season. Ready? Let's do it. All right, so let's start here. I have earmarked a lot of these games, and when going through everybody's schedule and going through the games that'll mean the most this season, I found myself looking at a lot of Rockets games. Like, I found myself looking at the Rockets and what they're doing. The Rockets are currently number 2 in the West. They're right there above the Nuggets. They're not catching up to OKC, of course. But the Rockets, to me, represent this fascinating team in the West, a team in the NBA overall. They're number 2 seed, but a team that I've gone on the record and said, I just do not believe in this squad. I believed in them way back early in January. If you remember, they beat Cleveland 2 games in a row, and they beat Boston right after that. Amen Thompson, this was his coming out party. We were talking about him as the future of the league. I still think he is that. But since those January games, the Rockets have won 2 games against 500 teams since that time. They beat Minnesota in February, and then they won another 500 game, I think against Milwaukee, February 25th. The Rockets are interesting to me. Like, they have an incredible defense. They have Ime Udoka, but that offense really concerns me. There's a lot of Fred VanVleet going on. There's a lot of Dylan Brooks going on at the end of these games. What we saw against the Lakers is when that defense and the Lakers team was able to use some of that veteran presence. LeBron was switching a little bit. They were disrupting that offense. It kind of fell apart. I did not like what I saw from that Rockets offense. And the problem here is, come playoff time, I think a lot of teams are going to do just that. But here's where I could be proven wrong. Here are some Rockets games that we need to talk about. April 4th, Thunder Rockets. OKC is 3-1 in this series this season. I want to see how the Rockets hold up against OKC. I want to see how they can challenge OKC. The Rockets had a win earlier in this year in the play-in tournament. Everybody remembers the play-in tournament. When the Rockets were sort of gaining this momentum and turning from a good story to a possible contender. The Thunder, of course, on the other hand, just keep winning. They just keep winning. The greatest plus-minus we've ever seen. They are, if they go undefeated throughout the rest of the season, they can get to 70 wins. Not totally sure how I feel about that. So there's Rockets Thunder. There's also 2 days later, Rockets Warriors. The Warriors have won 3 of those games. None of these games happened while Jimmy Butler was with the team. The first, when they played in November, Buddy Hield had 27 points against the Rockets. If there is any indication how long ago this was, because I'm not sure that I've seen Buddy Hield make a 3. I need proof. I'm becoming a flat earther on Buddy Hield. I need proof that Buddy Hield has made a 3 in the calendar year of 2025. I'm not sure that it's ever happened. The Rockets did beat the Warriors 91-90 in the Cup semifinals, a defensive fight. But again, this is pre-Jimmy Butler. I want to see what the Rockets are going to look like against this Warriors team that could potentially be a first-round matchup if things sort of fall. The Rockets sort of fall a little bit, if the Warriors kind of teeter a little bit as well. Or they could be a 4-5, depending on how bad this goes. Then, of course, April 9th, we have Rockets-Clippers. It is a potential first-round matchup, another potential first-round matchup. The Rockets have won all these games. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Kawhi played in none of these games. All these games are before Kawhi was a Clipper. 3 important Rockets games. I want to know, Chuck, we're going to bring producer Chuck in. He is the prognosticator. That's not my job. I'm not here to prognosticate. I'm supposed to tell you what I just saw. You're going to tell me, where do you think these games go for the Rockets?
I think they'll finish 2-1 in these. I just think the Rockets are, with Ime, are playing for a lot more than some of these other teams. As you mentioned, this young upstart team that is trying to prove themselves. I'm not too sure that OKC, you said that they may be going for 70, but I don't know if that's what OKC is going to be doing. So while some of these games will be really important, I'm gonna be curious about how they match up actually. Like, do these coaches play these teams fully? I have a feeling Ime will, and some of these other coaches will not. So we'll just have to see just on that front. But I definitely think they'll be 2-1. I definitely think they'll beat the Thunder. Not because they're just better than the Thunder or anything like that, just because I think, once again, they'll want it more. They're going to come out guns a-blazing, whole team. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Williams doesn't play, if Harnstein doesn't play. I can see coaches sitting the teams versus the Rockets down the stretch.
So here's another concern I have. Is Jalen? We have not mentioned Jalen Green one time. Jalen Green laid an egg against this Lakers team. I want to see the definitive Jalen Green game. And one of these games, I want to see the definitive I'm that dude game. Because what we see a lot of times with the Rockets, we saw that with that Thunder game that they won. Fred VanVleet had 38 points, right?
Yeah.
And some of these games they win, it just comes down to Fred VanVleet nailing a bunch of threes and being 2019 playoff Fred VanVleet, which I do not find myself.
You've made it very clear you do not believe.
I don't believe in the Fred VanVleet of this. But they can't. But what I did see, I will say this: what I did see with them in the Lakers that I did like is that yes, they lost the game, but I think when they play an older team, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, even there's a potential where you just say, all right, they're not they're
old.
They're old, right? They're old, and the Rockets' execution may not be great, but there's something to be said about them just running up and down the court and tiring these dudes up, running up and down the court. So that is, I think, I want to see that against Warriors, Clippers, April 6th, April 9th. Okay. Rockets, I have them at maybe 1-3 in those games. 1-3 in those games. I don't think they're beating the Thunder. I think the Thunder still want to just win out, and I think they'll split with the Warriors and Clippers. We'll see how that goes. Now. Let's go. We're still talking Thunder a little bit. Lakers, Thunder, 4-6 and 4-8. April 6th, April 8th. Back to back. Lakers, Thunder matchup. We have not seen these teams really play. They played earlier in the season. Thunder won. It was sort of towards that point of the season where LeBron was tiring out a little bit, looking kind of old before he took a little time out. He only had 12 points in that first matchup. Of course, I want to see Luka in that Thunder, Luka and Dort, which was a matchup that went very much in Luka's favor during the playoffs. I want to see if the Lakers, because we're talking about a team that's mucking it up, a team that stepped up defensively a few weeks ago. Defense has fallen off, and there's talk about, hey, if the Lakers play the Thunder, maybe they can slow things down to a point that can frustrate the Thunder. And we know one thing about J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick prepares for a regular season game like it is a playoff game. So we're going to see their full strategy on April 6th because the Lakers also, they have some standing stuff that they need to hone in on too. They're only a half a game behind the Nuggets right now for the third seed, which of course the third seed allows you to avoid OKC in the second round. Right now the Grizzlies are 6. So if they stay at 6, I don't think they will. I actually think the Grizzlies might fall into the play-in, which we'll get to that in a second. You could have a Lakers-Grizzlies and then Lakers, maybe Rockets or Nuggets, and then you play the Thunder, which is not that bad of a lineup for the Lakers. It's not that bad. You get to avoid some of these hotter teams, Minnesota,
That's the
Clippers.
greatest thing. That scenario you have aligned is actually
if the Lakers can get the Grizzlies and the Rockets in the first 2 rounds, you have avoided.
You haven't asked for anything better. The script hasn't been aligned any better. I would agree, but I have one pushback on what you said. LeBron, since the growing injury, how many plus 20 point plus games has he had? It hasn't looked as LeBron-ish as it has all throughout the season. Even when he was tiring out, like you say, he did have that 12. That was the anomaly back then. Now he just had 16 points. He's been doing other things. He had that 13 point, 13 rebounds, 7 assist game for sure. And they've been finding ways to win, but they've also been finding ways to lose. That Bulls game, I can't get that out of my head for some reason.
146 points to the Bulls. Well, which Bulls game? Because there's 2 bad losses to the Bulls.
They lost at the end on the giddy half court because they gave up a 12-point lead or a crazy point with like 12, a 5-point lead with 12. It was just crazy.
They gave up 44 points in the fourth quarter, 11 threes in the fourth quarter. Inexcusable.
It's some of it is just, and like LeBron was a part, like LeBron had that horrific turnover, and I just wonder how much can him, Reeves, and Luka actually carry this load. Like Finney Smith Jr., Vanderbilt, other people need to come along and help, and I don't know if they'll get enough of that. I'm just scared.
So here's the other thing about the Lakers Thunder. You are not hiding Luka and Austin Reeves on defense against anybody. That's the problem. There's no scheme really. Like, you can muck it up by letting a lot of people shoot threes that you want to shoot threes. That's JJ Redick. That's been his MO. One bad 3-point shooter to shoot threes. You're playing that Thunder team. I'm not sure who you're saying I want to shoot those threes. And you're also saying, I don't know how I'm going small when you have Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren out there. Like, does LeBron guard Chet say I'm just going to bully Chet? Like, I don't know. Like, what does the matchup look like for the Lakers? They play again. The reason that this is circled is they're back-to-back games, which means you could lose 2 games in the standings right now.
See, I think that's more detrimental than any sort of matchup, because the thing for me with the Lakers is, if the idea is to slow it down, then it's just playing bully ball at the idea that LeBron is going to be the best post player in the series.
Yeah. So who you got? Lakers, Thunder. Do you split it? Do you think
I split it because I don't think LeBron. I think LeBron pulls out vintage LeBron in one of these. I don't know which one, but he does that thing where he puts everything on his back and he gets them a win. Also, I just don't think the Thunder, like, I'm the guy who believes you have to lose in the NBA before you win. And last year, I don't think was enough losing. Like, I don't think
they got to lose more. They got to double lose.
Yeah, I just don't think the way they lost was heartbreaking enough. I don't think it showed any. It was just like they lost. Like, things didn't really work out, and nobody expected it. I think people expected this year, so a loss this year toughens them up for real.
All right, I don't believe in that stuff. I just think that the better teams will win. I think the Thunder is just a better team on that side. So let's go to the Eastern Conference. We're going to group up 3 big Knicks games that we have. April 7th, Knicks Celtics. April 10th, Knicks Pistons. April 11th, Cavs Knicks. Now, granted, April 11th, Cavs Knicks may not matter. Cavs may not play anybody because they're so far ahead in the rankings. It's right before the playoffs. They might rest everybody. But I want to see the Knicks win one of these games, right? I need to see the Knicks compete.
Beat a good team?
Beat a good team. I need to see them at least compete against the Celtics and the Cavs. I think these teams just enjoy dominating them. Now, the game that means probably the most is April 10th, Knicks Pistons. First round matchup potential in the East. Right now, I'm not sure if that's going to be how it goes, because in the East right now, the Bucks are sitting in that 6th seed. They don't have Dame, so and the Pistons are up a game on them. So we may be looking at Bucks Knicks. But if we do see Bucks Knicks Pistons, I want to see this matchup because I want to see the Pistons' best win, or previously at the first half of the season, their best win was going into Madison Square Garden and beating the Knicks. That was the game that said, I think that we could beat this team. I think Cade Cunningham is something to prove, to say, I can be the best player in this series. I think Cat needs to go out there and say, look, you got beef stew, you got the bigs there. I want to be dominant. Knicks Pistons is going to be must see, especially if there's some rankings on the line, especially if it's the Pistons going the difference between a 5 and a 6 seed for a Pistons. Knicks are locked into that 3 seed. They're not moving up or down. To me, it's a lot about the Pistons. Where do the Knicks fall in this matchup?
Oh, see, you talking my agenda. I've been on the Pistons bandwagon. Remember when you heard it?
You want Cade to be MVP. So, yeah.
Y'all heard it here first. You on my Rockets agenda too, but I love you. You come along. But right. For the Pistons, it's about, like you said, it's about them. I don't think it's about the Knicks without Brunson. Whenever Brunson makes his way back, then I can fully determine where I see how the Knicks fall. Like you said, locked into that 3, it's about who they face. And I'm actually not too sure about them facing anybody outside the Bucks. I think they should want the Bucks because the Bucks are in a downward spiral, and I don't think they have anything going right for them. So for the Knicks, I think it's more important for them to win, but I think it's more important for the Pistons' identity, how they show themselves. So if you come play tough game, even if you lose buzzer beat or something at the end, maybe you get a call that maybe doesn't go your way, I would take that for the Pistons than getting blown out going in to the playoffs, because they're going to be a playoff team. It's where they land. And I think for them, they don't want to play Indiana. They would much rather get the Knicks. So I think there's this is where gamemanship, if the Pistons are smart, maybe it is worth taking an L so you can get the Knicks in the playoffs and not, face the Pacers, who I would hate to run up and down with them.
I think the Knicks lose all 3 of these games. And here's why. And no disrespect to the Knicks. I think they're going to lose to the Celtics because they're nowhere near as good as the Celtics. I think they'll lose to the Pistons. Brunson, we'll see if he'll be back by then. But I think this Pistons team is really geared up to play this Knicks team. And I think they'll lose the Cavs just because I don't think anybody's going to play any of their starters in this game. It's possible they won't play this. But at the very least, I want to see the Knicks compete against the Celtics and the Cavs. To me, that's the most important outcome out of all of these, is show me that you can stand up to these teams, especially if somehow Cleveland ends up playing some of these starters. Sticking with the Pistons, we have 2 more Pistons matchups. April 11th, April 13th, my birthday, Aries gang, boom, boom, boom. Bucks, Pistons play each other twice. And this is for, as you mentioned, this is for the 5th or 6th seed, the difference between the 5th or 6th seed. The Pistons may be playing the Pacers. Bucks may be playing the Pacers. They don't have Dame. Dame may be gearing up for a playoff run. Giannis scored 59 points earlier against this Pistons team. To me, this is a playoff tune-up preview for this Pistons squad. I think the seeding goes down to that April 13th game. I think we're going to see a split in these 2 games. But this probably, out of all the games we have, has the most potential to be a playoff matchup.
You think so?
In terms of a playoff type of matchup, terms of playoff intensity matchup. Not that they're going to see each other in the playoffs. This is going to be the playoff intensity. As much as any other game.
For sure. I think this and some of the Warriors games, because I think everybody who's jockeying between 5 and 6 in their respective conference has a reason to either want to play at 6 because they feel 3 is a quicker way. Or at least if you're in the East, why not play the Cavs in the second round? So I'm actually curious what the Bucks think they're about. If they think Dame is going to help them come gear up, maybe it is worth getting up to 4 and taking your shot at the Pacers. Because then if you beat the Pacers, hey, I'm taking Giannis in a series against Donovan Mitchell.
You think the Bucks can beat the Cavs?
I'm the guy who takes the best player on the court. The guy who's the best player on the court, that's the team, especially in a playoff series, is the team I'm picking almost 9 times out of 10. Your team has to be so much better than the other team for me to be like, yeah, this one dude can't overcome that. So for me, I think in the East, I'm jockeying for 4 or 5, not 6. So I would be very curious what the Bucks think. I don't know if the Bucks have the same mindset as me, but if I'm the Bucks, that's where I'm jockeying for.
All right, so let's go to the last 2 games here on the docket. We can go by real quickly on these. April 11th, Grizzlies and the Nuggets play. I mentioned this one mostly because I'm looking at the standings. I'm looking at the state of the Grizzlies. I think this team may be a play-in team, man. They are a game ahead of Minnesota and the Clippers for a play-in spot. I think the Grizzlies may end up as an 8 seed, and I think they'll be. I mean, granted that they win in the play-in, which I think they will. Yeah. You got the Mavs and the Kings teams that are just not that good. I think the Grizzlies may end up at an 8 seed. That's why I want to mention that. I think they'll lose that game and they'll be out. Clippers Warriors to end the season. This could be the difference between a play-in and a 6 seed, depending on how this thing goes. I have gone on record talking about how much I love this Clippers team and the way that they've been playing. Kawhi's looking good. Zubac's defensively. Harden is getting his own shot still. I'm interested to see what the Clippers and Warriors look like because I'm looking at the top of these standings. Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers, right? And I'm looking at the bottom of the standings. Warriors, Timberwolves, Clippers. I think Warriors, Timberwolves, Clippers are three better teams than Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers.
Ooh, that's spicy.
And one of the reasons I mentioned that, the team that I have not talked about having an important game is Minnesota. And the reason I have not had Minnesota as an important game because they play, this is the rest of their schedule: Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Memphis, Brooklyn, Utah. Minnesota may win their next 6 games.
But here's the thing. Of all teams to go do something stupid, it's Minnesota. It would
be Minnesota. Well, Memphis is there. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But Minnesota could blow some of these games, but they could win 6 in a row to end this thing out, and they could be in the 5th seed potentially, and maybe even teetering on that 4th seed with the Lakers. Memphis that's a team to watch out. Minnesota is definitely a team to watch out for.
Now they're watching out for Minnesota.
Now we're watching out for Minnesota, especially with the schedule, especially what they got. Julius Randle is passing the ball. Passing the ball. Important stuff with Julius Randle. Those are the most important games of the season. I want to get into 2 things I can't stop thinking about. One from the other night, Ja Morant at the end of this game with the Golden State Warriors. Look at what Ja has been doing.
What's Ja been doing?
Some form of gesture there. You can make that what you want.
Ja.
And then, buddy,
what do you mean? Whoa.
Some form of gesture
Finger
there.
guns, Ja.
No. He's signing. He's signing.
He's finger guns. Ja Morant's getting suspended.
You think so?
What you want.
Ja Morant's getting suspended. These guys are.
For how many games?
He may be out of game or so. Who knows? Ja Morant's getting suspended.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, Grizzlies are a play-in team. They're a first-round exit, no matter where they are in the standing. First-round exit. Now, the most important video here in Atlanta, from what we saw, this is people of a certain age. Chuck, we are roughly around the same age.
Yeah.
You got to stretch. You got to do your Pilates. Look at what my man did at the Hawks game.
Let me see this.
Trying to do a little layup tic-tac-toe.
Okay. How many times have you played layup tic-tac-toe in your life?
Never played layup tic-tac-toe, and after watching this video, I never will. No layup tic-tac-toe for my man. All right, here we go. There we go. She's doing a little backhand bounce. Oh, no. No.
It was a wet spot?
Hey, if it's me, I'm saying it's a wet spot. This game he is going to be the owner of the Atlanta Hawks franchise in a couple weeks. I'm saying there's a wet spot that jacked up my knee. Look at my man. He said, ball don't stop. Ball don't stop.
My man, yeah, baby. Nah, continue.
Yeah, come on, Ragman. Ragman said, look, what's going on?
Oh my. This isn't funny though. Like, this isn't funny. Like, it's never okay to laugh at someone tearing their ACL, correct?
It absolutely is. This is hilarious. Wow. I'm sorry. This is hilarious. And what is he wearing? He got on Jordans. Come on. How do you do that in some Jordans? It's not like he was wearing some Stacey Adams and jacked up his knee. You wearing Jordans out on the court. You got to stretch. You got to do something. Pull it together. Oh, my man.
Why did he fall back like that? Like,
my man. Never do the layup game unless there's some real money on the line. I'm shooting from half court. I don't want nothing athletic. I'm not doing no layups.
Are you running up though? Because you can still
No. We walking up, measured half court. I'm doing a Jokic floater from half court and calling it a day.
I forgot you're kind of tall. See, so
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I don't want my man. You in Atlanta? If I run into you in Atlanta, you got wings on me because you gonna need some legs. But we got you.
You gonna see him on crutches? Send them to
I know.
him.
I'll see you on crutches. I got you, man. I got you. Lemon pepper wet on me. Chuck, thank you for being here for Ball Up Top. These are the most important games of the season. That going to the end of the season. Next, I'll be off next week. Little housekeeping. Be off next week. I'll be on some other stuff that you will be seeing soon. Then the week after that, we'll be gearing up, talking playoffs, getting ready for the marathon run to June. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Ball Up Top.